In one of the villages far from economic development, a 45-year-old man was living in the village. His name was Ali. In that village, people were mainly engaged in farming and animal husbandry. The villagers had no big dreams or luxurious lives. Farmers were working in the fields until it was getting dark, and those engaged in animal husbandry were spending their days grazing their animals until evening. Ali was born and grew up in that village, and he was living there. He had never thought of living elsewhere in a big city. He did not have deep knowledge. He had not studied well at school, but he was a very talented man. From a young age, he developed an interest in craftsmanship. He was making very beautiful items out of wood. With time and experience, he deepened this skill and became a unique craftsman. At the entrance of the village, he had a workshop where he made wooden tables, chairs, desk lamps, children's beds, and other eye-catching items. Whenever he was finding customers, he was selling them and was trying to make his living that way. Because people's financial situation and purchasing power were low, he had to sell his handmade works very cheaply. In fact, he had no other choice because Master Ali was only known in that village and in 2 or 3 nearby villages. The poor villagers' appreciation of Ali's talent and work could be only this much. His magnificent talent and eye-catching handmade works were hidden from the world. This was sometimes tiring him, because he was earning very little money from the work to which he was devoting great effort, not even enough to cover his expenses. He felt that something was missing in his life, but he did not know exactly what it was. Sometimes he lost spirit. Sometimes he felt exhausted in the face of financial difficulties. He had dedicated his years to this craft. What was the missing element in his work? In the next minutes of the story, I will explain to you the beginning of his success story and the missing thing in his work. One day, Ali was working in his workshop as usual. A young man entered. After greeting, he began to look around with admiration. From the young man's clothes and hairstyle, it was clear that he was not living in the village, but was a guest from somewhere else. Ali asked the young man respectfully, "How can I help you?" The young man replied, "I live in the capital. I came to visit my grandfather, who lives in the village. While passing by, I saw your workshop. I thought of buying new tables and chairs for my grandfather's house. But I see that there are very magnificent handmade works in your workshop. To be honest, I did not expect to come across such a beautiful view." These words greatly surprised Ali, because he was not used to hearing such valuable words from the customers in the village. He only smiled and thanked him, not knowing what else to say. The young man looked at the items in the workshop for a few minutes, and without even asking the prices, he chose several items and said to Ali, "In addition to the table and chairs, I also want to buy these items. I will take them as gifts to my friends. They value handmade and labor-intensive items very much." Ali was very happy. He sold in a few minutes what he usually could sell in a month. The young man took his mobile phone from his pocket and said to Ali, "If you allow me, I want to shoot a few seconds of short video here. People must see this beauty." Ollie did not object. In fact, he did not realize what was happening because he was not familiar with social media and such innovations. He had never used any social media. The young man filmed the wooden items Ollie had made, the eye-catching handmade works, and the workshop with his mobile phone, while talking and joyfully telling about what he saw. Quietly watching what the guest from the capital was doing, Ollie was unaware of who the young man was. He did not know that the 1-minute video filmed that day would completely change his life. The young man who came from the capital was a blogger with millions of subscribers on YouTube. Ollie learned this a few days later because, as I said, he was not interested in social media and modern innovations. The important missing element in Ollie's work was this. His hands created beauty, but it had remained hidden from the world. The video that the young man filmed in the workshop was watched by millions of people within a few days. Many people from big cities began to contact Master Ollie in order to buy his handmade works or to organize their sales systematically. A few months later, Ollie already had a large workshop, assistants, and prestigious customers from big cities. I thank you for listening to the narrated story until the end, and I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to my channel to support it.